Well, here we are at the IMF Factory in Occhiobello. Really excited to be here. We've got Matteo.
Thank you for being here.
So we proudly use IMF roasters. We think it's definitely the best for us to have the flexibility to roast our coffee how we enjoy it for our customers. So thank you so much for making a beautiful roaster.
Thank you. Thank you for choosing us. It's a pleasure working with you.
So I'm super excited to be able to see where the machine that we have was made and the processes that you do. In making it all come together. So
and we are super excited to show you. Absolutely.
Great. All right, well, let's go and check it out.
We can start with this direction.
Sure.
Now we have, for example, a 240 big monster.
Yes.
Here. This one is going to Dubai.
Okay. And the largest you have is 480 at the moment?
480 at the moment, yes.
Okay.
We're working on bigger sizes, but still on designing process.
Yep. And then you've got obviously some smaller ranges here. So what sort of size
15 kilos, 15 kilo per batch.
Yes.
These are, we can call them specialty roasters. They're very important to us because it may be an entering stage for someone who has to start roasting.
Yep.
But they still ensure you a very high productivity. You can fit even 6 cycles because of the great power we can rely on.
Yep.
For light roast, we have people doing 6, maybe 7 cycles sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
7-minute profiling.
Yeah,
more or less.
We've been able to do a 7-minute roast on a 32 kilos. You know, it wasn't to the profile we really wanted, but it was amazing that we could achieve that.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
This gives an insight of the flexibility we can guarantee.
Yeah, well, it's all about efficiencies for us in labour, in gas, and how many you can do per hour. So it definitely allows us to do more for sure.
And this is basically the startup. We test here all the machines before letting them go out for shipment.
And you can customise obviously the colours, any choice.
We can customize the colours. We can customize some features, of course. Still in the process.
Okay.
Plus we have a very old machine here we're trying to refurbish. Still IMF, still air concept.
Brilliant. And so you make everything from here. You can
make
see
everything here. Plus we have other productive sites. At the beginning, everything was made here.
Okay.
But because of space necessities, we decided to dislocate a little bit the production and focus here on the final assembly of the pieces, as you can see. So that following the workflow, we get to the wiring area where we do all the electrical wiring before having the final test.
Okay.
Basically, the machines come here.
Yep.
We assemble the frame. We put the drum, the cooling tray, all the pieces together. Then they go to the paint shop after this first stage, and then they come back here, and we do as I said, the wiring and the testing, which is the final part. We never want a roasting machine to exit IMF without being tested, of course. Certainly. This is very important for us.
Yeah. This here gives an idea of what, just how well engineered it is, because that's only about maybe 3 pallets long and maybe 1.5 wide. That looks like a 60, is it?
This is a 60 kilo, exactly.
Yeah, and then it has everything. It has the afterburner, it has the discharger, it has a destoner.
Afterburner, roasting software integrated.
Yep.
Destoner, which is here aside, and it can either be on load cells for weight check, which we're gonna mount down here.
Wow, okay.
And the concept is we wanted to make it as easy as possible for the customer to choose IMF, also because of the easiness of transportation. So the size would fit perfectly a container, so it would be easier with the forklift just to take the item out without too many operations. So it just goes in one container with the destoner and loading hopper in the back. So this will absolutely dramatically drop the transportation costs.
Yeah, transportation and setup costs, because for us...
Setup and handling costs.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy just to take out and position.
We got ours off the truck and into position with a few cases of beer. the guys down the road came up and helped us with it.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
it wasn't even, it was so easy to do. And then once we got the tech up to put it all together, within about 5 hours we were
5 hours.
roasting.
Yeah, in one day you can really set it up and start roasting. If everything is there, all the supplies are there, you can easily, it's basically plug and play,
Fantastic.
more or less. I wouldn't be so drastic, but yes, plug and play would be the
Awesome.
be the way of saying absolutely. Now we do the cooling tray all in stainless steel.
Okay.
So and we're trying to implement also stainless steel the most we can in the construction process.
Awesome.
It's not easy as material costs are very problematic at the moment. As, they've been rising and they went down, now they're going up again. There's a bunch of fluctuations going on. But you see, everything is handmade and in the end is treated to take out potential construction defects. We want all the IMF roasters to go out at best with fantastic quality. And this machine, if well kept, can last for 10, 15 years easily, even more. IMF was born in 1994, so at the moment we still haven't found anybody complaining about the roaster.
The longevity,
Yes,
yeah.
no, absolutely. And we have people working 3 shifts a day, every day of the year.
Yeah.
So we can really count on long-lasting endurance. Very, very important. Without impacting the quality of the work.
Yeah.
So it's top of the range productivity for top of the range quality.
Great.
It's not easy to match these two things together.
How long does it take to go from a frame like that to a complete roaster in this facility? What's the time frame, say, for 30 kilos?
Well, it might differ according to the workload having at the moment, but I would say in a week maximum 10 days.
Oh, that's fantastic.
10 days, yes.
And you'd probably do them in batches. You do a few 240s and a few 30s, things like that to keep efficiencies?
Actually, no, it's a bit more chaotic in a way.
Okay.
It means it follows the order, the client's decisions, basically. So if we get 2 orders of 240, then of course. Otherwise, we try to follow the order confirmation.
Yeah,
and this is interesting because it's roasting chamber for wood. So wood roaster.
A wood roaster, yeah.
It's a wood roaster. We have a bunch of those in Australia.
I appreciate that you could do it, and it will give a different, maybe, smell.
Still having the vortex technology.
Yeah, right.
For air mixing.
I just struggle burning the wood.
It's a bit, if you have a forest, it's not the most ecological thing at the moment, but some people, they don't want to forget their roots, so they started out as wood roasters. They would like to keep this flame, and
brilliant.
we do it. The important thing is to keep under control the heat, because of course it's not as inflating the gas.
Okay.
And there is no recirculation system on wood roasters, but still, if the customer is aware of this, we're good to go. It's a good option for most of the old wood roasters, because nowadays it's very unlikely to find somebody constructing, designing also. The design is very important.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have that heritage still going, so well done.
Absolutely, it's like a heritage.
Yeah.
Italy is very used to roasting with wood, especially in the south. You get people who do not want to abandon this kind of thing.
Yeah. Is this the water?
This is the water system.
Yeah.
We do it for safety reasons. You can get both the drum and the cooling tray with water by spraying it.
So if there's a fire, that just turns on and...
Exactly. We suggest never to use it for quenching, because we don't really like quenching solutions. But for safety, we try to mount them on every roaster, of course.
Yeah.
Except for the shop roasters, because of the lower quantities. But for bigger ones, it's absolutely mandatory.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we never had to use that on ours, so thankfully.
No, never, ever. If the operator is fine, then you can really count on full safety.
Right. And that's
the roasting drum.
What size is that one?
Roasting drum for the 240.
A 240.
The upcoming 240.
Yeah,
we
right.
just made space for, moving out the other one. All the material is treated for high temperature. We can get very high temperature inside. And you can see the
What I was
peculiar
saying,
geometry behind, you know, the coffee movement.
Yep.
It's not easy to keep the coffee revolving. Basically, the coffee rarely touches the drum. It's fluctuating in a way, in order for the air to come from the back here, clean, and then hit the mass of coffee, and basically go around the mass of coffee.
I don't get to see in there very often.
That's
Once it's complete, you can't see how that
yes,
works.
absolutely.
But you've got your stainless steel drum with fins in there. Yeah, wow. Yeah. And so when did the company start? How long, when did IMF?
1994.
Okay.
1994, but with the current management, only from 2010.
Okay.
Because we had a technology, we just had some issues in marketing such technology.
Yep.
And since Mr. Gerbin came in, now we're skyrocketing because of his great knowledge both of the market and the green coffee itself. We made some adjustments to the technology, bringing it to the next level, and now we're absolutely having very good results, and we're ready to take over the world.
Right.
Which is already being happening.
I'm sure you will, yeah. I mean,
yeah, we will. Starting from the furthest away place, which is Australia, and then coming back to Europe.
Great.
Now we're present in 5 continents.
Yep.
With wholesale service everywhere. A bunch of resellers around the world, especially China and Australia. We're hitting the US market. We're focusing also on Asia, Middle East, and Europe as well. I think the next step would be Africa.
Oh, Africa, okay.
It's coming. Producing countries are rising. Okay, next thing I want to show you, come here.
Yeah.
The place, the room where the magic happens, both for integrating an existing plant with an IMF roaster or to recreate a complete plant from scratch, fully automatized by IMF. We speak with Gianpietro, who is our
Pietro?
designer.
Gianpietro,
yeah, Luke.
nice to meet you.
Lovely. Yeah, nice
I'm
to meet
a
you.
process engineer and I designed the PNID of of IMF. And here we have an example of IMF plants. We start with the intake area of the green coffee. In this plant we receive green coffee on pellets, and here we have an automatic back cutter that allow us to discharge and automatically cut all the green coffee bags. And then the green coffee goes to cleaning area by a pneumatic transport. And in the cleaning area, the coffee is clean thanks to different process machines, like for example a shelf cleaner, a dry destoner, and a continuous weighing system detects the flows that from the cleaning area goes towards the green coffee storage silos. And from the green coffee storage silos we can load roaster machines. In this case we have 2 existing roaster machines of the customers, and we are going to replace with 2 new one IMF roasters machines. So as a IMF company we can also provide revamping project and project that can replace existing roasters.
Yeah, that's really cool to see that whole solution. That you can do all this. This is things we don't normally get to see. It's the big scale, and cleaning green bean beforehand is pretty unique. Yeah. But being able to design everything as a full factory, and obviously it's all 3D modeled. And have you got a 3D model there or something you could show us? because the customer sometimes can't see this solution, you know. Yeah, we think it's just like a roaster on the display floor, but
this
you've
is
got
the
this.
3 model of this PNID scheme, and all the 3D model is based on the information that our technician takes from the PNID.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you very much for showing us.
You're welcome.
Here with me, I got something more to show you.
Sure.
An additional part of the technical and designing office, where we create small details and the final complete components of the plants.
Okay. So a little specialty area like the roaster or the silos or those
the
details?
integration features and anything which has to be worked thoroughly as an implementation of the solution needed by the customer. We work upon demand, so this is basically where the magic happens.
The problem solvers.
Yes,
they bring it all
solvers.
together.
That's the solution creators.
Great.
I would call them. Okay.
This is Alessandro, the owner of IMF Coffee Roasters. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Yeah, and thank you for making a beautiful roaster. I love working on it. The flexibility, the technology. I really personally enjoy it. So
we like the customer with you.
Thank you. Yes, and I know our customers enjoy the beautiful cup of coffee that we can do with it.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
For me, I think the biggest thing is people don't understand how to roast and how to get the most out of this. They just keep doing what they've always done.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd love you to share with everyone that new technologies. Yeah.
So well, first of all, we should start with the most important thing from IMF technology, which is the vortex valve. So the treatment of the air, the accurate treatment of the air, which takes place. Maybe we can come and take a look at here.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
Okay, so one of the key features and characteristics of the IMF system is the dual use of the combustion chamber, which is both for inflating the gas and generating the heat we need for roasting coffee, and also for emission treatment. So by very high temperatures, we clean the air, we let the emission at very low levels go out, and basically we destinate the clean air to the drum only after blending it with the air from the environment through this vortex valve, which is a patent from IMF, in order to mitigate the temperature. Otherwise, 650 degrees would be too much for roasting coffee. Would be okay for burning coffee, but we don't want that. So for an accurate blending, we utilize this intake of fresher air in order to get to the inlet temperature we want for any given profile.
Great. And that obviously reduces having to have a second afterburner running more gas.
We only
up
have
top
one
to
burner.
Do emission control.
So we operate through one burner, which brings the consumption, the gas consumption,
way down
to very low levels. And also having it integrated in the system, it's much easier for maintenance purposes.
No, definitely.
You would usually have two different installations of burners, so you will have to take care of two different items. With us, it's only one. Plus, we set the burner stable, and what would be done with adjusting the settings of the burner on regular roasters is only done through the vortex valve.
Okay. Easy.
Very easy. Very
simple,
easy, effective, and no thermal inertia in this way, because you always have the power you need starting from very high temperature.
Yep.
That's the reason of easiness of use of the IMF. Now, where the magic happens, I would say, is of course inside the drum. Basically, the coffee would stand in this position here. The most important thing is we keep the coffee revolving up and down, not to have it, standing still on the lower part of the drum. We basically want the whole mass of coffee to be embraced and hit by the same amount of heat, so that the heat transfer is homogeneous and even.
Yep.
Because sometimes they might be very good outside, but then when you grind them, you see the differences inside. With us, even ground is a very even output, So this results in a very, how can I say, tasty flavor without differences in taste in the final cup.
Yeah, sure. So you've got there's a probe at the back there, which is measuring the temperature
We have a
of
probe
inlet.
of the inlet temperature, measuring the air.
Yep, and then you've got
Plus
the
we
bean
have a
temperature.
probe for the product, and this is also very important when profiling, because of course another important thing about IMF is the inverter situation we have both on the rotational speed of the drum
Yep.
and the airflow strength. So we can decide we want to be very strong, very gentle
Yep.
at different given times throughout the 12 set points.
Yeah. That airflow is huge and
Very strong.
it's very strong.
And
And
powerful.
people, I think this is the point that people don't quite understand. So not only do you have clean, huge amount of air on heat and air on tap just to put it in or remove it and control it so well.
Yeah, total control. That's
Yeah.
the most important thing.
So ours is a 30 kilo. We don't have to do these lower volumes. A lot of people with other roasters start to maybe roast a 25 kilo in a
Okay.
30 kilo roaster. We can roast a 32.
32, you can even go up.
Well, we can't because it hits here and it's full.
And then you keep it there.
Yeah, so you can actually get a huge amount of capacity. So it's interesting that people,
Still being flexible also with lower capacities.
yes, definitely. We get down to about, for us, 10.
10.
10. Anything lower than 10, it's very hard to measure.
But I had
30.
people roasting 7.2 kilos with a 60 kilo.
Wow. Okay.
By, of course, adjusting all the parameters.
Yep.
But this can be done. This can be done.
Yep.
The most important thing is you have no thermal inertia. So the reaction of the air is very, very quick and responsive. This gives you a flexibility in production. It helps the workflow because you don't have to preview too many similar profiles, but you can step from one profile to the other very easily.
Yep.
So you basically just give the input to the roaster, and through the vortex valve settings, the machine reacts and gives you what's needed for roasting the coffee the best way you want to.
Yeah, it's easy because it's the heat and the force you want
And
that
the
heat to
force,
be attached.
exactly.
Not having just the heat and trying to then suck the heat through.
And foresee how long it will take for the machine to react. This is just instant.
Yeah,
So total control and total accuracy.
yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Well, thank you, Matteo, for taking us through a factory tour.
Thank you, Luke, for coming here, for visiting us. It's a nice pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, it's wonderful for me to see how things are made. I mean, I love that engineering side of things, but to see the team, to see, what you're doing
The
here, and
organization and the people behind the
Correct.
IMF technology.
yeah, so no, absolutely honoured to be here. So thanks again.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, we look forward to hopefully growing and getting a bigger one. I'd love
I'm
to.
looking forward to give you a bigger machine. Absolutely. Maybe a complete plant. Who knows?
Yeah, that's
in the
it.
future.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
So hopefully that gives you an insight into how the IMF roasters are made and just the detail, the level of detail and heat and the point of differences that they have. So if you like this video, please do share it with somebody who might be looking at a coffee roaster. If I can help answer any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to support you in answering those questions. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when we put up our latest video. Thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.